Marmots are real-life Snorlaxes. Their life consists of getting as fat as possible during the summer and then hibernating the rest of the year. But it doesn't mean their lives are easy. Their seemingly chill lifestyles are an adaptation for life in some of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Hi, I'm Danielle and you're watching Animalogic. This week, I'm teaming up with Hope Swinimer.
Hi there, it's Hope calling back from Hope for Wildlife.
Hope Swinimer runs an animal sanctuary and rehabilitation center called Hope for Wildlife in my home of the east coast of Canada. Today, we're talking all about marmots.
They're a cool little animal. A lot of people don't understand them or know a whole lot about them. And people are fearful of them. We laugh every year when we get those phone calls. There's a groundhog in my yard. What should I do?
Marmots are a genus of ground squirrel, which includes the groundhog, and they're famous for their ability to tell humans when they can stop wearing their winter coats.
For every Groundhog Day, or February 2nd, the weather was listed. If it was fair, the groundhog would have seen his shadow. And if it was cloudy, he couldn't have seen his shadow. But shadow or not, the temperature never varied more than 2 degrees from normal. The groundhog had nothing to do with spring weather.
They thrive in foothills, valleys, and meadows, and can be found in areas with long, cold winters, with no available food for most of the year. Marmots can't live in dense forests because they don't provide the variety of herbs, grasses, and fresh-growth plants they need to survive. Their golden age was the Pleistocene, when glaciers covered most of Eurasia and North America, and marmots lived just south of the ice barrier. But as the ice melted and forests grew, marmots had to move to treeless mountaintops and steppes. Of the 15 recognized marmot species, only 2 live in plains, the steppe marmot and the groundhog.
So we see everything here at Hope for Wildlife, from bald eagles to owls to all the birds of prey. We usually only see the groundhogs in the summer because they're busy sleeping through the winter. And there are herbivores, and so families don't really need to worry too much about children and interactions. So I'll show you how I was doing it last night, and it was working, although I did get a lot over me and a lot over the animal, but that's okay.
In the summer, marmots eat as much as they can to put on as much weight as possible. This is their way of storing energy for the winter. Over a summer, adult marmots can double their weight, and in some cases, they can weigh over 13 kilograms, about the same size as a French bulldog. When it gets too cold for plants to grow, marmots will go into their burrows and hibernate until their food is available again. To save energy, their metabolism slows down. Their heartbeat goes down to 5 beats per minute, and they breathe only once every 20 seconds. Some species can hibernate for up to 9 months. Having a very short feeding and growing season means that babies need at least 2 summers to reach maturity. They hibernate with their moms during the first winter and are ready to leave after a year. Sharing burrows has led to marmots living in social groups. In most marmot species, female marmots stay with their mothers for at least 3 years, helping them take care of their newborns. European marmots, like the alpine marmot, are the most social species. They live in multi-generational colonies with a dominant mating pair. Up to 20 individuals can live in a single burrow. At 3 years of age, the males leave to try to mate with females from other colonies. North American marmots live in smaller social groups. It's usually just one male and a couple of reproducing females and their daughters. The young become independent after 1 or 2 summers. The only solitary marmot in the world is the groundhog, found in North America east of the Rockies. They hibernate on their own, and their young leave after just 1 summer. They're also very territorial, and fights for prime real estate are common. Living in big groups has lots of advantages. Huddling together helps them conserve heat in the winter, and when they're out in the summer, the whole family keeps an eye out for predators.
Anything that's a carnivore, it's a predator. Foxes, bobcats, a lot of the mammals that would hunt meat.
At the first sight of danger, a quick series of high-pitched calls sends everyone sprinting for safety.
To avoid a predator, they will run and get down into their holes because they really do want to run away.
But living in close quarters can be dangerous. Males fight for territory and for access to females. These furry gladiators really duke it out in some of the most intense and silly battles in the animal kingdom.
I ain't trying to fight no more. We be beefing, always. I don't wanna fight. Then you claim that you okay. Let me poke it, stubborn, no one backing down. Oh, be trying to wear the crown. I ain't trying to fight. We be beefing always. I don't wanna.
In social species like the alpine marmot, when new males take over a territory, they kill all the pups. This lowers the hibernation costs for females and makes them more likely to reproduce successfully the following year. Groundhogs, being the hermits of the family, have a different problem. The pups are fully dependent on their mom. If something happens to her, they might not survive.
They're making noises. I was talking to them all the way here.
Oh my gosh. They're cold as ice, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh. So sadly, 4 days ago, a pest control officer was hired to remove a groundhog that was digging up someone's paver stones, and they didn't check for babies. And 4 days later, the gentleman hears the sound and investigates. These guys have to be just born. That poor mom, she must be so upset. I don't know. I remember that day really well. I was amazed that they were still alive, and they had some life left in them, so we started our emergency care right away, and it just was one of those really happy stories.
I'm pretty tired. I'm glad they're all together.
The Vancouver Island marmot is one of the rarest animals in the world, and one of the most critically endangered animals here in Canada. In 2003, there was only 30 Vancouver Island marmots left in the wild. Thankfully, the Marmot Recovery Foundation has been having a lot of success bringing this adorable species back from the brink. Their numbers have increased dramatically over the last 20 years, and now there are over 200 living in the wild.
There's so many ways to live comfortably with nature, and I think we've become fearful and, we lack knowledge in a lot of cases, so I really feel it's our job to get people reconnected.
Be sure to watch Hope for Wildlife on the Love Nature channel for more amazing stories on wildlife rehabilitation. What animal should I talk about next? Please let me know in the comments. If you'd like to support Animalogic and get some cool perks, check us out on Patreon. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes of Animalogic every other week. Thanks for watching!